Pick her up.
Right now, we all probably have a family member of some sort in the school system, whether it be a child, a grandchild, or just a niece, nephew. And as of right now, there is a piece of legislation in the state of South Dakota that is allowing teachers to possibly carry firearms. I do think that with all the focus on gun control right now, it is also important to consider putting firearms into the right hands. And so I do want to talk to you about why I think this would be a good idea. First, it would improve safety in schools. Second, with the right training, it actually has already been implemented successfully in certain locations. And third, armed teachers and civilians have already stopped mass killings in certain situations. The first point I would like to make is to talk about improving safety in the schools. For that, I refer to the Connecticut Law Review by David Koppel, a well-known author and attorney. First, it is a very big deterrent to have firearms in schools. Studies have shown that normal violent criminals will often avoid breaking into places that they think somebody may be home in fear of getting shot. Also, the time frame. The normal active shooter situation takes approximately 3 to 4 minutes. In Columbine, there were 13 victims. 11 of these victims were killed while police were setting out a perimeter outside the building. So waiting for police response is not always the best answer, and having somebody on scene could very well save lives. So now that I've talked to you about the safety issues, I do also want to talk to you about how this has already been implemented in certain places with the right training. I also, for this, do refer to the Connecticut Law Review by David Koppel, where it does state that in Utah this actually was implemented in 1995. Now, there have been no reported incidents as far as teachers abusing this policy, accidents in firearms, or kids feeling threatened by this policy. Also, there was an article published in the Weekly Reader called Up in Arms that talks about where in Herald, Texas in 2008, the school board approved some of the employees to carry guns. Each employee was approved by the school board on an individual basis and did receive training in crisis and hostage situations. So this is just one example of how this can be implemented safely. For schools that, like this one, that were 30 miles from the nearest police station, they felt that this was a necessary security measure. So now that I've talked to you about how this can be implemented safely, I would also like to talk to you about how armed teachers and civilians have already stopped mass killings in certain situations. For this, I refer to an article called Arming the Right People that appeared in the Los Angeles Times, a well-known newspaper, where they were showing that not only have shootings been prevented in high schools, middle schools, and colleges, but also in theaters, dance recitals, and restaurants. In 1999, President Clinton actually allowed grant money to be allotted to schools so that armed security guards could be on campuses. Now, the fact that the federal government is allowing that to happen just shows some validity. And the NRA is saying that we should extend this also now to have teachers be armed. So, in conclusion, I do believe that this is something that the schools should implement, and we need to challenge the schools to take this seriously and challenge the government to get behind it. Because, like I said, it improves safety in schools. With the right training, it has been already successfully implemented, and armed teachers and civilians have actually already stopped mass murders. So I think that with everybody here who has some connection to a school through a child, grandchild, niece, nephew, or other family member needs to take this seriously.
Yay.